Hello, welcome to Draws DOTA, the show where I describe characters to Chan, the artist who must draw them based solely on my description. This episode's Crystal Maiden. I'm gonna try doing this without being overly creepy. Crystal Maiden's Dota's beautiful Aryan Disney ice princess. So she's a white girl who's blonde and has blue eyes and is well endowed. That's where Chan draws a penis. Her outfit is somewhat gratuitous. It's light blue with dark blue rimmings and white fur, so it's just like ice colors. So she's the first female character I'm describing other than Broodmother. She doesn't count. But she happens to be the slowest and the squishiest and the weakest hero. Like, she generally can't really do anything by herself, and she's mostly just there to just cheer on her team. Her wavy blonde hair is shoulder length. She wears a wide open light blue hood with a dark blue edge and inside lining. She has bluish eye makeup and a light blue jewel at the tip top of her forehead. She has fairly large shoulder guards. They're kind of sideways. They like rest along the sides of her shoulders, and they curve out at the tops and the bottoms, more so at the tops. They're light blue rimmed with white fur. There are blue jewels at the front parts closer to her chest, and a gold chain connects these just above her chest. She has like a weirdly, very slightly long neck. You wouldn't notice unless you were looking, but I was just a bit creeped out by it. Her arms are long and thin. She wears light blue arm guards. These look like loose cloth held in place with 2 gold bands on each. I guess these wouldn't really guard against much. They're just mostly to warm her arms, probably. It doesn't look like she should be able to lift her staff. Her arms are so thin. But in her left hand she holds this like metal rod staff with a gold butt that has a blue jewel in it and another bit of gold near the bottom. The head has a gold base with small arms going up in a wide V and a small blue jewel in the center. Tufts of fur hang from the arms by little straps. Coming out of the V is a blue crystal spearhead. Kind of reminds me of the Assassin's Creed logo, or emblem, with a smaller hole in the middle, and the top is more kind of like blunt. It's just like a bunch of crystal fragments. They don't look particularly sharp. It's more like a staff than a spear. She wears a light blue tank top with a pretty revealing neckline. It's just dark blue at the edge. There are also dark blue wraps under her chest, around her ribs, and she's got a dark blue thin belt with a gold belt buckle with a blue gem in it. Her shirt turns into like a very short skirt at the bottom. Like, you'd be able to see her faceless void if there wasn't a loincloth-like cape hanging from the front of her belt, which has white fur at the end. She wears a thin but long light blue cape with dark blue lining and then the white fur at the edges. And she wears dark blue thigh socks that go like all the way up pretty much. She's basically wearing pants. I mean, it'd probably be easier just to wear pants at that point. She also wears boots that go up above the knee. They're just white fur boots. They're pretty much entirely fur. They look very fluffy. And there are small wraps under her knees that kind of keep them in place. That's Crystal Maiden. She's Dota's alternate universe Elsa. I've never seen Frozen. I think that's the name. I caught myself staring at her model for a long time. Starting to feel creepy. Then I realized she was the next episode, so it worked out. I mean, her name's Crystal Maiden in the game, like that's her name. But her sister is also in the game, and her name's just Lena. So that would be like if you and I were in the game. My name would be like the Conqueror, and your name is just like Jordan. Crystal Maiden was the first hero I played a lot. I think it's because we're very similar. We're both very slow and weak, and we say a lot of bad puns, and we're helpful but essentially useless. Both possibly psychotic, and we're both very attractive. and everybody likes this. 90% of her voice lines are puns. Also, I mean, just 90% of the voice lines in Dota are bad puns. But yeah, hers are all just ice puns. I wasn't really able to think of any that they had done. Between her and like Mr. Freeze, pretty much they've all been done. There was Snow Way for me to think of any. Is Crystal Maiden. So, all right. Huh. Okay. That's pretty much the same. I feel like I pretty much got it. Other than the staff is a little bit off. I guess I put my shoulder guards like almost not even on her shoulders. In general, I just had a huge problem just getting her proportions right. And I still think her proportions are a little off. I think her head's still a little small. It's just because as I'm drawing in more and more things, like I lose sight of the whole picture, and then it just gets all skewed. Mine, in general, is just a simpler version. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just looks like I did fan art of her. I think I actually made her boobs bigger. As I was working on it, I basically just started doing Blue Jaina from Heroes of the Storm, the better version of Dota. He should have some power armor legs or something, or like just super jacked legs. They should just give him Beastmasters, like giant thighs.